Okay, before we start this video, I'm going to show you my lawn, and unfortunately my lawn is quite patchy in places, and I'm going to show you an example of it. If you remember, this is a lawn I seeded 3 weeks ago, and yes, you would expect it to be a little bit patchy in areas, but what I'm going to ask you is, what do you think has caused this? And if you put your answer in the comments and then wait till the end, I will show you exactly what has caused it. Morning, welcome to the video. It is Monday the 17th of June. So this week is the longest week, or will have the longest day of the year, which is Thursday. And it's downhill from there, which is massively depressing. Because we haven't had a summer, although this week is, look, sun's out, it's a beautiful morning. I actually had breakfast outside, so yeah, it's perfect. So it's a Monday, and as you know, and as I've said in previous videos, I don't do regular mowing on a Monday. I never book mowing in for a Monday. One, because of the bank holidays, you sort of have to, you know, maneuver that around. I always do lawn care on a Monday unless I have something going on where I need a little bit of flexibility. The way I see it, lawn care, as long as springtime lawn care is done in the springtime, it doesn't matter whether it's done on a Monday or a Tuesday or even the following week. As long as you organise it right with the clients, you're not letting them down at the last minute. It also means if I want some time off or a longer weekend, I can bring the week forwards one day, so I can have the Friday off. And then equally, if I want the Monday off, I can have the Monday off. Now the situation is tomorrow is my son's first ever sports day at his school, so I'm not going to be missing that. I think there's, you know, work is really important, but there are some things in life, particularly with your children, that you know you have to make time for. So what that does mean is, because it is a mowing week and I would be mowing all day tomorrow, what I'm actually going to do is do half of the mowing, basically up until when the sports day should finish. All those jobs I'm going to do today. And then this afternoon / early or late morning, I'm going to do one big lawn care job, and then I've got a couple of meetings. One on the phone, one is a little experiment meeting I'm gonna go to, which I will explain more if something comes of it. Would be quite interesting actually. But I can't say too much at the moment on that one. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag today, to be honest. Oh, and a quote as well. So yeah, so that's where we're at. But that's the flexibility of not scheduling in work on a Monday or regular mowing. Just gives you that little bit of freedom to be able to move things around without losing any revenue, because all the lawn care jobs, they will all still get done. So I've not lost that money, and I've not lost either a weekly mow or had to push a day's worth of mowing onto another job, onto other days. So I find it works really, really well. However, back at the container, this area is just becoming a massive mess, and it used to be okay. I mean, God, the whole place is a tip. But what I thought actually is, I was looking at shelving and I found this shelving here. This was about 85 quid. Now they claim capacity per shelf on this particular one is 600 kilograms. I was like, that's madness. But they claim it is. Now, ideally, what I would be looking to do is to put some fertilizer bags on there. Each bag is 25 kilograms. So if it can take 600 kilograms, you can get quite a few on there, where you wouldn't get as many as they reckon they can get on. It says no bolts, just need a rubber hammer or something to knock it together. Who knows, but we will give it a go. It's got to be better than nothing to sort of just sort this mess out. So if I get an opportunity to do this today, I'll do that too. I stupidly left the box for the 41 up here, and the mower's at home, and I needed to cut the back lawn over the weekend, but I didn't have an opportunity to come back up here and grab it. So today I need the Time Master for the first lawn, and I also need the Hater 56, but the brush is on. However, you'll notice the other 56 has come back, which has no brush on, so this has not been started for a while, so I'll start this one up. If that works, that's great. This is the one that, let me turn the light on as well to help. Don't know if that helps or not. This is the one which is a blend of everything. So you've got the old 56 handle on, and if you see there, you've got the Toro match cut height thing on there. So this is a very rare breed, in fact. So I might just use that one, and that makes life a lot easier than having to take the the brush on and off. So anyways, I'm going to get organised, and then I'll catch up with you in a bit. Oh yeah, one other thing, the belt didn't snap, the belt which is going on the Time Master, it was absolutely fine. And then on Friday, the 3-belt pack came through. So you've got this is the belt which makes the 2 blades work in sync. This is the belt that drives the wheels, and this is the belt which has the issue, and this is the belt that basically powers makes the blades go round. So I've got all 3, and I will find a home for them in here somewhere. And I probably won't get around to changing the belt on it, so I'll probably, knowing me, wait till it goes, but at least I've got the belt ready to go. Okay, so I've got the shelf together. It's not quite as big as I thought it was, if I'm honest, but it will certainly do a job. I guess the thing is, it's quite flexible, so I can't quite get the woods to sit in. I need somebody to help me on this one, because I need to someone to hold it while I manipulate it. But obviously I can't manipulate and put the shelves in on my own, so I'll have to wait on that one. But yeah, I think it sort of serves the purpose. You know, the idea is that all these bottles will probably fit underneath there nicely. Then I'll be able to get a few bags of fertilizer on here, another few bags of fertilizer on here, and then just sort of store some stuff on the top. So I'll probably still have some bags to the side, but maybe the fertilizers that are out of season can be stored away, and then the kind of the ones, so for instance currently the Delta 1248, that's the stuff I'm putting out as my kind of generic summer treatment. You know, they're going out every day, so I don't need to necessarily store them. But if I've got any springtime or winter or sort of autumn time fertilizers, they're the ones that can kind of be stored away, as with the iron and all the other little things I have. And it may be a case I need another one, but certainly I think it was worth the experiment. And equally, the other thing which is quite important is the width of it. It should be just as wide as you can just about see it down there, the pallet which is the bags are sitting on. That means that the trailer, when I do put the trailer in here, can fit between that and actually it's wider than the shelf, but it does kind of just, if you do it right, it can just go underneath that shelf. That is a specific height. So yeah, there's lots of things to think about, because it's the container is only as wide as it is. You can get longer ones, but the width is the same, and that is somewhat the issue at the moment. We are back at this lawn. If you remember, this featured in one of the first videos I did of this sort of series, if you like. And I cut the grass. Obviously the robot mower does a good job of it, but as you can see there, it doesn't go to the edge, so you end up with these long edges. And there was some stuff going, last time I was here there was some stuff going on down there. We didn't really quite know what it was, but it turns out it's some beds with some vegetables in, by the looks of things. So what we are going to do today is we're just going to feed the lawn. You can remember these channels, they have come in a bit. Well, they've come in definitely much better than what it was. And interestingly, this lawn is striped. This can't be my stripes still in there, surely. I don't know. Maybe he's got a mower, and I can't see why. Are these still my stripes? Who knows? I'll have to inquire. But yeah, it's not bad. Could do with a dusting. Maybe we'll do that in the autumn. because remember he put irrigation in. Here we go. So yeah, not bad. So essentially what I'm going to be doing today is just spraying for the weeds, and then just putting a nice little balanced organic fertilizer down. Look at those Simpson clouds in the background, beautiful. It's about 22 today. It was a really nice morning, and it's been a really nice day. I think the week's going to be like this too. What I will do, just clear that bit up there, because obviously the fertilizer is not going to work. There's loads of bees, so probably won't spray the weeds around here because it's not ideal for the bees. But actually you can walk through them, it's perfectly fine. We have bees at school actually, and yeah, again it looks really nice. It's just a shame about the edge, but the lawn looks good. Okay, so it's Tuesday today, and the shelving is all put up, and you can see instantly it's made a massive difference. I certainly could do with a second one. It was, as I say, a little bit smaller than what I thought, but not bad. So it is school sports day today. I'm not competing, but I am going. It's my son's first, so I think it's important to go. So that, as I say, yesterday that meant that I did half the mowing jobs and some lawn care jobs, but the day ended up being a very, very busy day. I had a quote in the afternoon / evening, phone call sort of interviewee type thing, and loads of stuff going on. The lawn that I showed you a few weeks ago, which is on a new build, and it's a bit of a ghost town really, because I'd say the property is the only complete bit. There's 700 houses. It's the only complete bit, and there's about 3 people living in it, and the rest is all building sites around. I just happened to be there as one of the 3 people who live there, who was the neighbour, was there. He had a random day off work, and it meant that he saw me, and literally as soon as he saw the van, he was out there straight away. So, and he knew the score. He was like, it's a new build lawn, it needs sorting. So I haven't quoted him officially yet, but yeah, another client, and he was like, well, crikey, you know, like, and we spoke about how new build lawns are always rubbish. They're generally just sort of like some clay soil that's been kind of spread about evenly-ish, with maybe like a hint of some top dressing or topsoil, and then some turf chucked down, and generally you'll either inherit a burnt up desert, or you might find that the grass is actually thigh high and there's sort of nowhere in between. So yeah, so that's a new client. He was like, crikey, he goes, you could end up with 700 houses. And as I say, I've been driving past watching this be built, thinking, oh, it'd be great to get in there because everything's so close, and you know new build lawns are going to have issues. So we should see what comes of that. Because I would imagine that, you know, they're also blank canvases as well, so people tend to, you know, make the patios might maybe just increase the patios and stuff like that, and with that, you know, there's damage to the lawn, so could end up just being the go-to guy on that estate, which would be great. So today I've got the second half of the mowing jobs, and the last 2 will be due there. Some are weed and feed, so I'll be doing those as well. So yeah, another busy day. Doesn't look as though it was as hot as yesterday. I think it was about 22 all day. It's a bit cloudier now, maybe if the cloud goes, but it's certainly not as warm as it was this time yesterday morning. So yeah, busy. I did do a social media post about, well, I'll show you that actually, about the Ego battery, which I think it's this one, not that one, it's this one here. So if you put it on charge, it says it's 80% charged, say. When you push the button, it flashes to say it's not charged. When you hold it down for 10 seconds ish, you then get the Christmas lights effect. I put it on on Instagram. Loads of people gave me their thoughts and views on what it could be, which is great. So thank you to everybody. Essentially, most people were saying is reset it, which I believe is pretty much what I did there, where you hold it down for 10-15 seconds. James from I was going to say Hayes Machinery, but they're Machinery Nation now, aren't they? He suggested also charging it on a slow charge as opposed to the rapid chargers, as well as the reset. But I think a lot of people have said just take it back to the dealer, and they'll just give you another one, which is what I've heard from about Ego stuff a lot, is that actually they do go wrong, but it's almost an instant renewal when you swap it. So I mean, that's very good that they work, but it's also quite poor that it's a common theme. So anyways, it is what it is. It was just interesting to know. I'm actually going to see whether it works this afternoon, because as I say, if you chuck it on the charger it says it's charged. If you push the button off the charger it says it isn't charged, so I actually don't know whether it works or not yet. But then the issue was this one wasn't charged. It's only got 3 bars, and that 3 bars is probably absolutely fine for what I need today, but it is giving me range anxiety. So I've brought a little small one which is fully charged, but just as a little top up, just in case that one's not enough and that one doesn't work. Okay, also, as you heard me say, I will be mowing lawns today, so I will have the Ego mower with me, which actually I probably could use on one of the other lawns, which is the one I can't get the Time Master in, so I have been using the hater. But the brush is on the hater, and I need to put I need the brush on the hater tomorrow, and I can't be bothered to take it off. And as the Time Master won't fit through, I am going to get out the Ego mower for the Ego job. And then I'm going to take the this bad boy, whatever it's called. So I'm going to be taking the Alco. This is my oldest mower. So I bought this in 2015, and this does the jobs you hate. So this essentially I bought for. So my first ever mower was a Hater 48. And actually I realised I wanted something a little bit bigger for some lawns, but also it's quite light, so you can pick it up, you can side discharge, you can mulch, you've got all the options to do stuff. But actually it was quite cheap, and I got it specifically for one lawn which was really rooty, and I didn't want to bugger up the roller on the Hater. I thought I'd much prefer to like do a 20 quid wheel instead. So yeah, this is the job I use for mowing down high lawns. On the one I did at the start of the year, which was really long, that new build, I trimmed it all down first, and then I went over with this. It's basically for the unruly lawns, which you can't get this in because this is too wide, and I don't want to ruin the Hater on. So actually this is the perfect one for the job that I'm doing today, but it's just an extra mower to carry. So this one, it's a Briggs & Stratton engine. It's never missed a beat. It is pretty slow, if I'm completely honest, but it's never let me down. Now I say that something could go wrong in it now, because that's what happens. But it's never let me down, and it's always just been there as and when I need it. It's one of those things now which it's probably not worth anything actually, but it's more valuable to just keep and use, once or twice a year, than it is to maybe probably sell it. So no, it's okay as a sort of a backup mower. And that's the thing about lawn care, is you always get those little lawns or something where you need a precise mower for. This one I also was using on a lawn which was, I'd say, fair sized lawn, but it was up some really steep steps. Too many steps to have ramps and stuff like that, so I didn't want to take the Hater up. So it was perfect, because you can lift it up and it's really light, but you could also get through the lawn in good time. So yeah, so they're the mowers today: the Hater, the Alco, and the Ego. Okay, just one other thing. I may have shown it in a video a couple of weeks ago, but when I was in Rigby Taylor, it was a little bit of an impulse buy. But for the smaller lawns, I've just bought this little handheld spreader. It makes it really good actually, because this is quite a big bad boy, and trying to get this in there when you've got 3 mowers, your fertilizer, I mean, there's far more selective there than I'll ever need. But yeah, it's for the 2 small lawns I'm doing, this actually would be perfect, and it can just sit up there out the way, and leaves you a lot more space. So I think that's going to be, you know, an actually very useful little cheap investment. Go on then, while we're on a roll, I'll do just one more thing. So I don't know what everyone's views are on the magical middle aisle at Lidl. However, I'll give you an example. This socket set I bought, let's say 8-9 years ago. It's a bit rusty where it's been used and out in the rain when you're fixing something, but it's all there, it all still works. That is bent, but I probably was using that for something it really shouldn't have been used for, but ultimately it still works, and it was perfect. It's not that price anymore, but I think it cost me £6. Also, the little metallic trays, these are perfect for when you're having to take something apart while you're out on the lawn, and you know, the little nuts and bolts can get lost in the grass. However, did buy a pack of bungee cords from there, and they are rubbish. I've got some decent quality ones that I've had for maybe 20 years, and they're, you know, one's broken of that pack in 20 years. But these ones are rubbish, so I wouldn't recommend them. But yeah, right, honestly, that's it. I shall see you at a job perhaps. Okay, so sports day is done. I am at the lawn, which was suffering with red thread, and also did some seeding jobs while I was here for just so here we are. It's looking pretty good. Again, the camera just makes it look a bit yellow, but ultimately all right. Then that's the corner bit over there, so it's coming quite nicely, but still a bit patchy. But I mean, hey, look at it. It's not really getting any sunlight or anything, and it is pretty dry, so I don't think the clients particularly watered it. And then you've got the larger area over here, which again, you can see that it's, you know, it is coming in nicely. It's still not there yet. It's been a couple of weeks, and actually we're sort of into the drier period now of when it's been seeded, so it's not bad. One thing I've said before is I always carry a dustpan and brush, because you spill fertilizer in the van, etc. You need to clear it up. You spill fertilizer on the client's drive, you need to clear it up, and in most cases you can reuse it, so there's no sense in just throwing it away or blowing it into a hedge or something. However, today is recycling bin day, and it seems as though the council have dropped a bottle on the pavement, and I've driven over it without realising. I think when I came in I did miss it, but I just noticed down on the pavement lots of glass, so I can only assume that's what's happened. And if you look, it's kind of, I would have driven over the middle of it, hopefully. Okay, so we're on this lawn now. I cut it on 3 on the Hater 56 with the brush on, in fact, and the brush was quite good. You could see it was really raking out some of the thatchy stuff. This is the turfed grass, which, as you can imagine, isn't loving that, but that's okay. We can deal with that as and when. At the moment it's just been get it down, and then we need to get it used to being down. As you can see, the seeded area, which is in the lighter area, as in it gets more light, is thriving. So what I've done is I've just given it a little treatment today, just to perk it up a little bit. So I'm just at the last property of the day, and this is one that when I first took on, the driveway was really mossy, really thick moss, but the driveway is pretty old and pretty loose, so I was quite hesitant to try and sort of brush it off. I thought I'd end up actually sweeping most of the driveway off. So this was a new client last year, and what I did, I think it was on my last visit, just before Christmas, was I put a product down. What I did was I sort of got the worst of it off with a shovel, I mean, it wasn't a massive area, but put a product down on my last visit just before Christmas of last year, and left it like this. And then at the start of this sort of like series, if you like, I showed you kind of what it had looked like after, well, a couple of months. So let's say a month and a half, shall we, what it looked like. And I just thought I'd sort of how it looks. So I've done nothing to this. I suggested in the last video when I showed it that it would be I might have to try and brush off the rest of it, but actually it's pretty clean. I mean, the client's really happy with it. As I say, I'd be hesitant to brush this because I reckon half the drive will come up. And this was also the garden where the council forced the client to cut this back because they couldn't possibly look in there. So I showed you this. So I took it right back, and less than a year ago, and you can really see it's popping back. So I basically just got to kind of keep this line here, which no doubt I'll do, and you can see that it's really filling in nicely. I might have some photos of what it looked like when I first did it, but yeah, it's filling in really nicely. Hey, Wednesday, back at this property from last I was cutting all down and through the woods and stuff like that, and you couldn't even see that bonfire, and you couldn't, the dump site's here, but you couldn't walk through here. So this is all cut back nicely. It's looking pretty smart. The wet stuff is contained, so I just knocked it down a little bit with the Time Master, so that's nice. Okay, so Thursday, just got the first one done. Get to that point where you get clients who don't really consider actually what it takes to organise yourself. So yesterday I had a message, this is a fortnightly cut, and I've had this conversation with this woman so many times. So I had a message about 10 o'clock saying, oh, when you turn up, could you do the hedges instead? Now, I've told this woman so many times for the last 3 years, I don't carry hedge cutting stuff. I'm the lawn guy. I do lawns predominantly. I do a little bit of hedge cutting here and there for some regular clients, but that's it. That doesn't warrant carrying ladders, hedge cutters, etc. So again, she turned up. Obviously, I'm cutting the grass, and she said, oh, did you not have time? I said, well, I don't carry the stuff, as I've told you many times before, you know. And also telling me when I'm already left and I'm already working is just no good at all. She said, oh, well, maybe I'll tell you maybe I'll let you know the night before. I was like, no, don't do that. Let me know a week before. I said, you know, she knows how busy I am out of work and things like that. I said, you know, my week is planned the week before. I know exactly when I need to go to the container to pick up what tools, etc, etc. You can't spring it, and also the container is really secure. You can't just go up there any old time of night. You are limited to when you can, you know, from 7:30 in the morning till I think it's 6:30 in the evening, maybe 7 on Fridays and Thursdays. So I need to know. And then this morning, got a text at 9:30, bearing in mind I've left the house at 7:15, and I'm already on the lawn at 8 o'clock mowing at 9:30. Oh hi, we've decided it'll be best to do the hedges today. I'm letting you know now so that you can you'll have time to pick up your hedge cutting stuff if you haven't got it with you. I had to reply and say I left the house just after 7. You can't spring this on me. I said, and as I've told you, and as I've told both of them, from July I will have some help, so that will make the hedging a lot easier because I'll have someone just sweeping up behind me. As it turns out, I've got somebody who's available from today onwards, so next Thursday I'll have someone with me to deal with those hedges. Hey, so it's Friday morning, sun's out. We had, I don't know, the parked van was saying 30 degrees, but actually when you got down the road yesterday it was going down to about 22, but still pretty hot. So I think now is a really good time to be thinking about watering your lawn. But the key with lawn care is little and often. Of course, there's an exception to every rule, and the exception to that rule is watering. Watering little and often is not ideal. What you want to be doing is doing actually deep and infrequent. I always say to my clients, you know, think of it as, because quite often they'll go, well, how long for? Should I do it for 10 minutes, you know, 10 minutes a day or something? And I always say, actually, add all those 10 minutes together and then just do it in 1 or 2 sittings during the week. So that seems to work quite well, because what you would need to think about is you're not watering the leaf, you want to water the roots. So this is my front lawn. I don't know if you can remember, you know, all winter this had a portaloo on. It's had where all the materials have been kept. So it's I know we're looking into the sun, so you can't really see it, but it's looking all right, all things considered. So obviously we've got our party tomorrow, so I'll give it a cut tonight and maybe tomorrow morning. But this sort of front half does take a bit of the sun. Sun's obviously up there, so nothing really happens until it gets round there. Then the house covers it, and then the sort of afternoon sun does get this bit at the front. Certainly if the car's not parked there. So if you remember, I think it was 3 weeks ago I seeded my lawn from scratch, really, after all the building work damage and the fact that everything from the patio had been stored on the lawn since September last year, and I had 3 weeks to grow a lawn before the party that we were having. So well, it's the night before now, so I'll show you where we're at. Okay, so you'll see we have bunting up, classic party, right? So as you can see, this is the final cut beforehand. Kind of looks okay, but we have had a problem. And this is the problem. We have patches everywhere. Patches of thin grass. Now, I'm pretty confident they'll come in areas, but there's lots of areas where it hasn't taken. And I couldn't work it out, because I was reseeding the areas, and then I'd look again and the seed had seemed to have gone. So I was very confused. In the last couple of days it's come to light as to what has been happening, and I shall put the video in now. It seems as though we've had 4 mice, and I assume they're mice because they're quite small and they've got big ears and things like that, eating all the seed as quickly as I've been throwing it down. And they've been going to certain areas, and that is why we have all these patches. And the more seed I chuck down, the more they eat. I've since stopped chucking the seed down, and they've stopped visiting us, so we haven't seen them since. So I think I'm just going to have to accept that I've lost this one for the moment, and then try again in the autumn time, and hopefully they would have moved on by then and won't come back. So it is what it is. It's certainly better than what it was.